This is a largely untold story about the most prolific Delaware novelist from the 19th century. She was probably born in Newcastle in 1841, and she was the great-granddaughter of George Read, one of Delaware's signers of the Declaration of Independence, as well as one of the framers of the U.S. Constitution. Her name is Marian Calhoun Reeves, and over the course of her career, she wrote 8 novels. Unfortunately, I have found no pictures of her, though I'm still looking. Her first novel, Injmisko, was published in 1867, her second, Randolph Honor, in 1868, and her third, Seadrift, in 1870. We'll talk more about these latter 2 a little later because they'll help to tell this untold story. In between, she wrote the novels Wherethorn in 1872, Pilot Fortune in 1885, both of which are still available as reprints. Also, Old Martin Boscawen's Jest and A Rosebud Garden of Girls, the first of which can only be found mainly on microfiche in select libraries, and the latter which may only have been serialized in Godey's Ladies' Book and Magazine in 1879. Her final novel is A Little Maid of Acadie from 1888. She wrote most of her novels under the name for which she's known best, the name of Fadette, though she also wrote under her actual name and in collaboration with her aunt, Emily Reed, the granddaughter of George Read. Reeves' mother, Ann Dorsey Reed, married Captain Isaac Stockton Reeves of South Carolina. Marian was their oldest child. When the Civil War broke out, Anne and her children defected to the Confederate States, becoming a family pariah. However, her defection was facilitated by the fact that her brother, George Read IV, owned a plantation with slaves called Rossmere in Arkansas. We might add here that Ross is Reeves' great-grandmother's maiden name. George Read married Gertrude Ross. Ross is also the name for the protagonist, Mary Ross, in Reeves' first novel, Injmisko. Ann Dorsey Reed kept a diary of her defection to the Confederacy and life at Rossmere. The diary is archived at the Radcliffe Institute at Harvard University. Marian Reeves' second and most important novel, Randolph Honor, parallels, in fiction, her experiences as a defector to the Confederacy and with the Civil War that raged around Rossmere. After the end of the war, she and many of the characters in Randolph Honor are refugees in New Orleans, where many make their escape by sea, a factor that may have inspired or reflected her experiences in her next novel, Seadrift. But because copies are exceedingly rare, we cannot be sure if this is so in Reeves' case. There is some reason to believe that Reeves may have been influenced in her literary work by the French novelist George Sand. In her first novel, Injmisko, she attributes authorship to Fadette, her nom de plume. In her second novel, Randolph Honor, authorship is given to the author of Injmisko, while the protagonist of Randolph Honor is named Fadette. But who was and why did Reeves use the name Fadette? In 1849, the French novelist George Sand published her novel La Petite Fadette on the heels of the failed Revolution of 1848, in which Sand played a part on the revolutionary side. La Petite Fadette was a reflex of Sand being on that losing side, but life goes on in the aftermath. Reeves' final novel, A Little Maid of Acadie, published in 1888, is largely inspired by Sand's La Petite Fadette regarding the similarity of character and the transformative powers Fadette and Francoise in A Little Maid of Acadie have on the others in both Sand's and Reeves' novels. Marian C L Reeves died on April 1st of 1898 and was interred in the historic cemetery at the Emmanuel Episcopal Church in Newcastle, just a few feet away from where her great-grandfather George Reed is buried. She shares a headstone with her mother, Anne Dorsey Reed Reeves. And now you know. You can also read a more complete account of the life and work of Marian C L Reeves in my book, Valdemar's Corpse, the 4th edition, which is available in both print and on Kindle from Amazon.